Hi, Marbs here. Video game releases that come out on a yearly basis prioritize a few things for each new year's release. After 16 releases of MotoGP titles, developer Milestone still has lofty goals for the MotoGP franchise. This year is no different, with this year's focus targeted at handling, with new rider-based handling system, and improved rider physics. And this includes career mode updates, including all of the official MotoGP 26 riders. And part of these updates also includes production bikes, which look like they've been directly added from Ride 6, although there are a few restrictions where you can ride them. Milestone has added a new collectible card reward system, but was very specific that this feature does not contemplate any form of in-app purchase, gambling, or the use of real money. It's just a fun reward and collectible bonus to entice players to continue playing and exploring and enjoying the game. The review copy of MotoGP 26 was provided by Plaion and Milestone. In North America, the game is only available as a digital purchase, and you can find a link in the description where you can purchase a digital code on Xbox from Amazon. Game testing was done using the 1004, 1005, and 1006 versions of the game on Xbox Series X, and the game requires 24 gig of fast storage to install. For physical collectors on Xbox, a MotoGP 26 Day 1 edition has been released outside of North America. This edition includes the Scorpion and HGC helmet pack, both of which are available for purchase at the Xbox store for $2 each. Importing the MotoGP 26 Day 1 edition on Amazon is possible, and we have a link in the description, but it is not cheap, priced almost at $70 plus shipping to own the Xbox Series X physical edition. This year's game is fully an Xbox Series X release, dropping support for the older Xbox One consoles. And unfortunately, this is a trend we can expect to continue, with publishers opting to skip physical Xbox releases and instead opting for Europe-only releases or digital-only releases. In addition, we expect the transition to Xbox Series titles to continue as the support for Xbox One titles continues to wind down. In MotoGP 25, Milestone moved MotoGP to the Unreal 5 engine, and the heavy lifting from last year's title caused Milestone to focus on what I would call a fixing and polishing this year, rather than just adding more new content for the sake of adding new content. In MotoGP 25, Milestone moved MotoGP to the Unreal 5 engine, and this heavy lifting last year caused Milestone to focus on fixing and polishing this year rather than just adding new content. I do think that was a wise decision. The majority of what we see here in MotoGP 26 is what I like to think of as an evolution of what we saw in MotoGP 25, that addresses the 2025 game's shortcomings. The focus on the new rider-based physics and handling model attempts to address the issues noted with the previous physics system. The improved weight distribution and control is visible in the simulation model with the new physics. The animations around the actual movement on the bike have been revised, and I think it does function better. I do not consider myself highly skilled at the simulation riding mode, so your mileage may vary. There has been a lot overhauled to the arcade driving experience this year, which already had made significant strides in approachability for newcomers last year. This included assists that can be used in a variety of different configurations, including a single stick mode where you can peel away the assists as you get the hang of the game. This year, MotoGP adds all new fresh bike audio for the Moto 2 and Moto 3 bikes, which is much improved and delivers a much richer experience over last year. The game has full cross-play ability for Xbox players to be able to play with players on PlayStation and PC, but Switch players can only play with other Switch players. The 2026 game did address many of my comments from last year about making more information available to newcomers to help them understand how the bike works and how the bike handles, as well as the overall rules of MotoGP racing. This is included in the new help and tutorial section, which I found quite helpful. The new revised career mode update sees MotoGP 26 advance towards parity with the recent F1 games around the career mode. And we have seen this include the new press conferences, rivalries, talks with agents, contract signings, performance against your teammate, and contracts and sponsors too. And you can even start in MotoGP or Moto3 if you want, any way you would like to work your way up the ladder. At times this did feel a little drawn out and redundant, but that you can play as your favorite MotoGP rider and live out the season is still very nice. Still, even with all the race-off events on off weekends, it did seem a bit repetitive, but I'm not sure you can do much about that. Speaking of the race-off mode, that expands with the addition of Canterbury Park, which is the latest track to drive the mini bike, flat trackers, and motards. This experience is limited. However, there are only 3 locations and 6 tracks in total, but this isn't the main focus of the game, so we just hope that they will continue to extend this into the future. While the game is said to feature new cutscenes, we felt that many of these cutscenes were not as, well, next generation or as forward graphically looking as the rest of the game. By way of comparison, Codemasters F1 25, which obviously has a much larger budget and staff numbers, seems to have a more robust look in the cutscenes. Too many of the graphics used in the cutscenes need to be updated, as well as some of the character models, particularly those during the grid walk and the post-race celebration. Notwithstanding this criticism, it does not extend to the bikes and the tracks. These look great, and let's be honest, the quality and look of the cutscenes do not impact the gameplay itself. Since the release of MotoGP 26, Milestone has updated the game to include many new liveries as well as a number of bug fixes. During my time playing MotoGP 26 on Xbox Series X, my experience was positive overall, but there were a number of minor glitches and bugs that did distract me. However, I'm sure that as with previous MotoGP titles, Milestone will address this in upcoming patches. As I said last year, adding new players is contingent on whether the game can deliver a fun, easy to pick up and play arcade experience. The improvements to the handling and the dynamic behavior of the AIs in the arcade mode is significantly better than last year. With that said, the AI still does tend to make mistakes, but since it adjusts to your performance overall, there still is improvement here over the 25 release. This includes the enhanced tutorial and instruction mode, which are great tools for newbies as well. The game runs Unreal Engine 5.7 and strives to deliver a MotoGP experience with all of the riders, all of the teams, using a totally revamped career mode, with 38 brands, 38 teams, over 70 riders on 22 tracks, the entire MotoGP 26 calendar, and the game does a good job of capturing the MotoGP series. But even with these improvements, some portions of the cutscenes have not aged well and visually don't fit very well with the upgraded graphics in the rest of the game. While I do recommend the 2026 games for those who do like the MotoGP gaming experience, the changes are more under the hood this year. Your experience with MotoGP 25 will impact your opinion of MotoGP 26 nonetheless. While the improvements to the arcade mode are welcomed by newcomers, some of the additions to the game might leave you asking whether that's all there is to MotoGP 26. My name is Marbs, and thank you for watching. If you liked the content, hit the subscribe button and smash that thumbs up for me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.